Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which is a great platform that I've been using since 2017. You can buy, sell, trade crypto on Uphold. They have 10 plus million users, 250 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. Right now, they're running a great promo where if you spend $600, you can get $50 in Bitcoin for free. If you'd like to learn more about Uphold, please visit the link in the description. All right, my friends, before we jump into the news, let's start with Bitcoin's price, because over the past 24 hours, we saw something very interesting. Last night, Bitcoin surged straight up to $29,000. In fact, it hit a peak of $29,136. And like I said, this was at night. It was just after 10 p.m. But then it kind of chopped sideways and then pulled back below 29,000, hitting near 28,000. So what's happening here, right? Let's look at the charts. As you can see from the macro weekly chart for Bitcoin, we are on track to Bitcoin's retracement. And yes, the bulls and the bears are fighting. Yes, there is a bearish scenario, but I've been on record that I think the bullish scenario has the higher probability of playing out. Now, the DXY continues to crash downwards, so that's a good sign that asset prices will continue to rise. And here, one analyst is tweeted out that we could see Bitcoin having one last dip before ripping past 30K. And it's exactly what's happening right now. It went up to a little bit past 29,000, rolled over. On its chart here, it's rolling over to just below 28,000. Then start moving its way back up. So he said the sad thing is bears are looking for an opportunity. They can continue to short this market and they'll continue to get blown out. Remember, here forward, dips are opportunities. So once again, this is not guaranteed. It is a scenario. It's a thesis, but I believe it's the higher probability versus Bitcoin rolling over to 12K, as bears have been saying in the past. So right now we're seeing some red in the market, but it's market cycles playing out on the micro level. And of course, we want to look at it from a macro perspective as well. Here's another big indication of bears capitulating, guys. The biggest bear, the biggest perma bear that we've known in history is Michael Burry, right? The big short himself. Well, he tweeted out this morning, "I was wrong to say sell." Wow. Wow. I was blown away that Burry came out and said this. But if you guys recall, in January, the end of January, he tweeted out, "Sell." Right now he's saying, "I was wrong to say sell." Of course, he's been wrong. The markets have been ripping relatively. And what some folks are saying, though, is he's becoming Jim Cramer, where you do the inverse of what he says. It's possible. So, should we say that, maybe it is time to sell because he's now on the opposite side? I don't know, because the market's based on the data now, the DXY, what Bitcoin is doing. I think we still got a bit more to go. And as I've been sharing on my chart, this is Bitcoin's retracement to about 40 to 50K. Then it's going to roll over and test those lows again. So we want to take profits. I think it's playing out just like it did in 2019. But it's pretty incredible to see a perma bear like Burry say, "I was wrong to sell." That actually makes me bullish. Now, the other tweet that he put out, he said, going back to the 1920s, there has been no buy the effing dip generation like you. Congratulations. And, I tweeted out that, yes, one thing Burry, they got wrong was that, he didn't include in that tweet, is that this generation buys the dips and they hodl and they got diamond hands, right? People are more financially educated because of the internet, because crypto forces you to learn monetary policy and so forth. I also said, look, this is a clear example of why you always do your own research. You learn the charts, market cycles, etc. No one is right 100% of the time, not even the great Michael Burry. But I do respect Michael Burry for having the courage as a bear to admit he is wrong while other bears are in disbelief. So credit to him for coming out and essentially said, saying I was wrong. But the takeaway, guys, from this, always do your own research. Even the things I'm saying to you, validate it. Go learn the charts. I point you in the right direction. Or maybe I didn't, right? Maybe I said something wrong and you guys come back and say, hey, Tony, you were wrong here. But that's the point. It's that you're thinking for yourself. You're taking in information from different people, right? Whether it be chart analysts, YouTubers, investors like Michael Burry. You're taking in all the different scenarios, bear and bull, and then you're forming your own thesis. That's super important, guys. So while I listen to a variety of different people, I have my own thesis, and maybe that aligns with some of the people I'm listening to, and maybe it doesn't. But this is where you at least have to have that foundational knowledge. It's super important. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here, but clearly Burry was wrong. So interesting times. Now, guys, here's the big news of the day. Senator Elizabeth Warren is campaigning an anti-crypto platform for her reelection. So she tweeted out a GIF today from her Twitter account, and it talks about different topics. And one of those topics, guys, is an anti-crypto army. She says Elizabeth Warren is building an anti-crypto army. Can you believe this, guys? I can't, at the end of the day, we know what's going on here, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum. Her and Gary Gensler are best buddies. We know they both have an anti-crypto agenda. And we know Elizabeth Warren is being lobbied. Her pockets are being lined. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's like, all the anti-crypto people out there, like your Warren Buffett and your Charlie Mungers and so forth. But she actually thinks this is a campaign item that she should run on. It is ridiculous. When you look at the polls and all these statistics and surveys, a lot of people own crypto. So she's really dumb for this. And it's clear what her agenda is and what she's trying to do. And, she contributed to some of the bank runs with Silvergate and these banks. This is, man, I know some people like Elizabeth Warren because, like she stands up for certain issues that relate to women and so forth. And I'm not debating that, but she is anti-American with this stance. I mean, because we're seeing crypto companies and innovators and entrepreneurs getting debanked and being forced out of the country. And investors are just left in confusion because the CFTC is saying one thing, the SEC is saying one thing. It's really a mess. And like I said, Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, best buddies. She's been sending him the questions and answers ahead of hearings. It's pathetic. It's pathetic what we're dealing with here. And, some folks weighed in, and I want to share what they had to say. So Autism Capital said, regarding Elizabeth's campaign slogan here of building an anti-crypto army. He says, a useful puppet from the banking cartel who is hoping to win an election off of rage and anti-tech sentiment, the face of the modern political grift, not open to nuance, not open to understanding the target of our hate. The only goal is self-interest and promotion. Absolutely. Ryan Adams from the Bankless podcast, he tweeted out, Elizabeth Warren is making anti-crypto part of her platform. Crypto gives power to the people, the power to own digital property. Anti-crypto is anti-American values. If Democrats make this their policy, they will lose. And I think we're starting to see that. There's a lot of people now saying, okay, this is how they want to go. But the good thing, guys, is we are seeing a good amount of Democrats and Republicans who are coming together, bipartisan support for crypto, and some Democrats turning their backs on these extremists and draconian Democrats who want to shut down crypto and so forth. So that's a good sign. And I'm hoping, the numbers for pro-crypto outweigh the anti-crypto. So far, I think they do. But, the money, I think, is making the rounds. The anti-crypto people are certainly going around lobbying. So the crypto industry needs to come together and lobby harder. This is how the game is played. So they got to go to DC and get some of these folks who have not put a stance out, if they're anti or pro crypto, who may be just neutral, to get them in their corner. So we'll see how things play out. But here you go, Elizabeth Warren. Of course, it doesn't surprise me, but of course she's taking it to another level, and we got to fight, guys. This is why, like I said, make content, tweet, call your representatives, email, do what you have to do. Use social media to your advantage. Now we got some big HBAR news, guys. You all know I hold HBAR in my portfolio. Hedera is one of those blockchains, I believe, well, it's not a blockchain. I often say that, but it's really not a blockchain, but it does use blockchain tech and the way it's set up. They tweeted out, well, the HBAR Foundation tweeted out, we're excited to announce that Fresh Supply Co., the largest user of MasterCard Provenance and partner of Combank, has migrated from the private MasterCard blockchain to Hedera for real-world asset tokenization. Wow, folks. So MasterCard had this news to me. They have a private blockchain, and I think every company is probably going to build their own internal blockchain. But this company is moving to a public blockchain, or network, I should say, Hedera, and for tokenization. Remember what we've been talking about? Token economy. That's the future, my friends. Here, they continued saying, traditionally, the agri-food value chain covering the full process of producing, processing, and distributing agricultural products from the farm to fork has been complex and opaque. As a result, financiers have been limited to balance sheets and P&L during credit risk assessment. Folks, you will be able to track your food, the products you own, and all these things on the blockchain. You'll be able to go to Amazon, and if you're looking at a product, you're going to be able to click on the source and verify every step of the way because of blockchain. That's going to be the future. And you can validate where down to the materials. Where did it come from? Did it come from a place that it shouldn't have, or whatever it may be? You'll just be able to validate and verify things. So this is really cool. This is real world adoption. Makes me bullish on HBAR. That's why I have it in my portfolio. Obviously, do your own research. Now, guys, while Elizabeth Warren and these clowns, continue to try to fight crypto, things are progressing around the globe. Crypto is a global asset class. It's not specific to any region or country. And as I said many times, the great thing about crypto is anyone can invest in it. There's no gatekeepers. You don't have to be an accredited investors. You could put $10 into Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, whatever it is, and you could be part of the asset class. So here, Hong Kong fund plans to raise $100 million for crypto investment. The new Hong Kong-based equity fund will focus on the regional market and embrace Web3 startups. Wish the United States was doing this, folks. But here we got clowns like Elizabeth Warren trying to roadblock the future in tech. So imagine if they did this to the internet, right? They were lobbying against internet, saying it's going to be detrimental. And look, there was some people who were skeptics and fought, the internet back in the day, but not to this level. Not trying to debank crypto companies and so forth. So as Hong Kong is again opening up to the crypto market, local investors are launching a $100 million fund to finance the digital industry. The new fund, Pro Digital Future, will aim at early stage Web3 companies oriented to or at the regional market. According to Bloomberg, according to a Bloomberg report from March 30th, Pro Digital Future has finished its half-year fundraising period with about $30 million in pockets. However, it plans to raise $100 million by the end of 2023. The fund is led by Ben NG, and I don't know how to pronounce that, a partner at Hong Kong-based equity firm Saif Partners, and Kurt Shi, a longtime tech investor from China. At this point, Sunhua Kingsway Capital Holdings and Golin International Group have already hopped in to support the fund. Here's a quote. So far, Shi told journalists that the fundraising process has been relatively smooth, although the investors are cautious about putting their money into crypto projects. Reportedly, Hong Kong investors and some family offices from China, Australia, and Singapore also participated in Pro Digital Future. Here it says the fund will embrace Hong Kong and its policies, but intends to be present in Australia and Singapore, as well as in Europe and the United States. So things moving ahead, my friends. Capital being raised, folks are investing. This is the future. It's the next layer on the internet. So it's a no-brainer here. The point is, though, to invest in quality projects. Now, here's an example coming out of Thailand. So Thai SEC wants to lift restrictions on initial coin offerings. The latest proposal by the SEC of Thailand follows a series of regulatory changes targeting the digital asset market in the country. So what a big difference from the clown Gary Gensler that we have to deal with here. So the Thai securities regulators is willing to lift the limit of 300,000 baht. If I'm saying that right, it's BAHT, which is around $8,800 for asset-backed ICOs per person, planning to allow bigger investments in real estate and infrastructure-backed ICOs, the SEC officially announced on March 30th. The new measures aim to help Thailand boost local technological development due to growth in capital market and the digital economy, the SEC said, adding, the revision of the regulation is aimed at enhancing effective monitoring of digital asset operations and reducing risks that might affect investors, digital asset operators, and the market. So, folks, at least around the globe, because crypto is a global asset class, these people are getting it right. They're expanding, they're growing. Here's another example from Indonesia. And check this out. Indonesian government looks to NFTs to preserve cultural heritage. The deputy of Indonesia's Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy explains how NFTs and cryptocurrency can solve social and economic challenges within Indonesia. So here's the real world adoption, folks. You see, governments, private companies, it's amazing what's happening. And here, let me give you the details about what's happening. Let me skip ahead. So they talk about tokenized assets such as NFTs and yada, yada. Well, for example, the Meta History Museum tokenized data from the war in Ukraine in May 2022, placing the information on a blockchain network to preserve records of the war. And here, preserving information using decentralized technologies is gaining traction. For instance, Mohammed Neil El Hinmam, deputy chairman for digital economy and creative products in Indonesia's Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, told Cointelegraph that he recently formed a partnership with Quantum Temple, a technology company using NFTs for preservation to maintain the country's cultural heritage. Himmam, boy, I can't say his name today, explained that NFTs could ensure that heritage can be preserved and created without limits. Here's a quote. It says, I believe that NFTs can contribute to preserving Indonesia's cultural heritage while enhancing virtual tourism. NFTs may also be a medium in ushering in the next billion users into the crypto space, especially if NFT elements of cultural heritage are well known and appreciated. Now, it doesn't say which blockchain. Let's see if we can skim through here and see what potential blockchain it may be. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. I guess they're not releasing the data for now. But guys, nevertheless, it is adoption. And by governments, we're seeing private companies, brands, and so forth. They're doing this. Hell, I'm about to launch an NFT collection. And for those of you listening who may have a knee-jerk reaction, it will have utility. Yes, it will have utility. There's going to be a reason for you to buy said NFTs because it's going to unlock experiences and things. I don't want to give away too much, but that's coming. And it's a great way for folks who buy the NFT to get a lot of perks and benefits. So more details on that. But guys, NFTs are going to be a big part of the economy moving forward, adopted by governments and many different companies. Now, we got some news out of the EU Parliament members that want to put a limit of 7,000 euro limit on cash payments and 1,000 euro limit on crypto transfers. So we're kind of seeing a theme here of a limit on cash. And, right away, I thought, what this is about. CBDCs are coming and they're going to want you to use that. And I tweet out, want to bet how much? Oh, you want to bet if the CBDCs are going to have limits? Nope. Right? They're gonna put the limit on the on these other things, but say, hey, CBDCs, use that. You could send it unlimited because they can track everything. Everything will be on the blockchain, and they will know who's doing what and which wallet address it came from and all that. That's what's coming. And I'm not against CBDCs per se. I believe they will have huge benefits to the economy. The problem is it gives the government a lot of power, and they can you get the wrong people in place and they can abuse the power. And there's the whole dystopian future that could take place where the social credit system, we don't like what you say, we limit the amount of money you can get. They put limits on the money. You have to spend it by such time. Those scenarios are real. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying that it's guaranteed to happen, but it's there. We know human nature, and we know the pitfalls of human nature and the ways things can go. So this is where we have to make sure the proper guardrails are in place. I can only speak for the US because that's where I live, and that is the right to privacy. And we'll see what the digital dollar and the Fed and US government does here with that CBDC. Now, some interesting news coming out of Coinbase. Crypto exchange Coinbase has named Lucas Matheson as its country director in Canada and said it signed an enhanced pre-registration undertaking with that country's regulators. So he's a former former Shopify executive. And great to see companies are hiring, building, expanding. This is what you want to see in the crypto market. They're not the only ones, obviously. We just had news that NASDAQ is going to launch your crypto custody end of Q2. Funds keep, getting capital. Fidelity rolled out their crypto trading. So great to see these companies, they're expanding. It just sucks that it seems they're being pushed out of the United States with the likes of crazy Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler and these clowns who are running this whole anti-crypto campaign, trying to debank crypto companies. All right, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.